Hello learners, welcome to my channel Study Buzz. This is the part 2 of consumer equilibrium. If you haven't watched the part 1 yet, please first watch part 1, then you will be able to understand it more clearly. So today we will discuss the topics law of diminishing marginal utility and the relation between total utility and marginal utility. So let's start the video. First, we will understand the meaning of law of diminishing marginal utility. According to this law, when we consume more and more unit of the same good continuously without making gap, additional unit of the good will give less satisfaction while other factor remains constant. What is this meaning? When a consumer consumes more and more unit of the same good, then the additional unit he is consuming will give less satisfaction while other factor remains constant. There are some assumptions of this law. Consumer should be rational. So we need to understand the meaning of a rational consumer. Who is a rational consumer? Rational consumer is a consumer जो मार्केट में जितनी भी गुड्स अवेलेबल है उन सभी को कंसिडर करके एक प्रॉपर चॉइस करता है. So here we can also write the meaning of rational consumer. The consumer who makes his choice after considering all the alternative good available in the market. Now the second assumption is consuming unit should be homogeneous in their quality. Means whichever good consumer is consuming, they should be same in their quality. The third one is consuming unit should be of standard unit. Means whatever the good is consumer is consuming, that good should be measurable in any quantity. Means it should be measurable in liters, kilograms. Okay. Now the fourth one is consumer should not be habitual of the good. Now we will understand the law of diminishing marginal utility through table. In this table, the consumer is consuming 4 units and we have given the total utility and marginal utility. According to this table, when we consume additional unit of the good, it will give less satisfaction like 60 util from first, 60 util from first, 50 util from second, 50 util from second unit, and 40 util from third, and the 30 util from fourth unit, and the 30 util from fourth unit. This shows that whenever the consumer is consuming additional unit, then it is giving less satisfaction, which means 60 utils he is getting from first unit, 50 utils he is getting from second unit of consumption, and 40 utils he is getting after consumption of third unit, and after consuming fourth unit he is getting 30 utils. Now we will understand the meaning of law of diminishing marginal utility through graph. According to this diagram, when the consumer increases their consumption from Q1 to Q2, when the consumer increasing his consumption from Q1 to Q2, the marginal satisfaction from good falls from M1 to M2. देखिए जो marginal satisfaction है वो fall कर रही है. Whenever the consumer is increasing his consumption, the marginal utility is falling. This shows law of diminishing marginal utility. Means additional consumption gives less satisfaction to the consumer. Now we will discuss the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. The first is when marginal utility decreases but remains positive. In this case, total utility increases at decreasing rate. The second is when marginal utility becomes zero, at there total utility becomes maximum. When marginal utility becomes negative, total utility will fall. Now we will understand the relationship with the help of a table. In this table, the consumer is consuming 5 units of the good. The total utility and marginal utility is given. Up to the consumption of first 3 units, marginal utility is decreasing. Up to the consumption of third unit, marginal utility is decreasing. First 30, 20, 10, it is decreasing but remains positive, but it is positive. And in this case, total utility will increase by decreasing rate or by less addition. C. When margin utility is decreasing, total utility is increasing by decreasing rate. Here it adds by 20, here it increases by plus 10. Now the second is when margin utility becomes 0. When margin utility becomes 0 at the consumption of 4th unit, total utility is maximum at 60 utils. Total utility is maximum at 60 utils. This is also known as saturation point. Now, when margin utility becomes negative, see, when margin utility becomes negative, there at the consumption of 5th unit, total utility is falling. See, total utility is falling from 60 to 50. Now, we will understand the relation between total utility and margin utility with the help of diagram. When margin utility decreases from A to C, when margin utility is decreasing from A to C but positive, it is positive up to point C. Total utility increases up to point B. Total utility is increasing up to point B at decreasing rate. See, it is increasing with decreasing rate. Now the second is when margin utility becomes 0, when margin utility becomes 0 at point C, at the same consumption, total utility reaches at maximum level. Total utility reaches at its maximum point at point B. This is also known as saturation point. Now the third is after point C, margin utility becomes negative. C point के बाद margin utility negative हो गई है. So there total utility is falling at point B. So total utility is also falling after point B. You have understand the relationship between total utility and margin utility. Thank you for watching.